going to enjoy this.
Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. My name is Tuffner, and today I'm going to be talking about the Bat. Yes, my personal favourite bat, even though there's not a great deal to choose from in that category. He's certainly my favourite rat with wings, shall we say. My favourite little sky mammal. Not even sky, just air mammal, I suppose. But regardless, I'm digressing here, majorly. I had a few friends around the other night, and obviously, you know, as it does with friends, you talk about everything and anything, you know, under the sun, and eventually we came to the subject of Batman and the new Superman vs Batman movie, as it's being, you know, quoted in the media as being. And you know, we'd all seen Man of Steel, and personally, there wasn't really many of us who thought it was utterly fantastic. You know, it wasn't a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of us felt it was a bit weak, lacking in certain areas at least. And you know, the action was fantastic, but you know, it's Zack Snyder doing it. The action's always going to be fantastic, even if you give him a Three Little Pigs story to make it into a film. The action's going to be fantastic. And eventually, the topic of discussion fell upon Dark Knight Returns. Me and another friend had already seen the cartoon. I actually bought the graphic novel today, which I cannot wait to start reading. I'm really looking forward to that. But basically, we started talking about the Dark Knight Returns and how realistically that is the only way they can sort of, if they're going to go with the notion that Batman is going to fight Superman, the Dark Knight Returns plot point, whereby Superman fights Batman, is going to be the only real kind of way they can go about doing it, whereby it seems realistic to the audience, or at least not totally illogical. Now, if you're not familiar with The Dark Knight Returns, let me say here and now that you should go watch the movie. Go out, buy the Blu-ray, watch it, or go buy the graphic novel, read it. You know, it's pretty faithful to the graphic novel as far as I'm aware. So either one will do. And yeah, I won't explain the whole premise of the two parts, because the cartoon is in two parts, and it's very long. It's about 3 hours in length. So I'm just going to get to the end point where Superman fights Batman. Now, if you're not aware of the Superman lore, within this particular DC storyline or universe, Superman works for the US government. And there's a certain point in the story where he has to prevent a nuclear bomb from hitting the United States, and he does so by obviously flying it up into the atmosphere where it blows up, and the radiation affects him. He gets very, very old, which I'm not sure how that works, but regardless, he gets really old and crusty and almost skeleton-like, falls to the ground, crashes to Earth, and then soaks the life out of some plants and stuff, which again I didn't know was one of his powers, but in this particular DC universe, that's how it's done. And an ash cloud covers the atmosphere of Earth, which prevents Superman from kind of regenerating his powers, you know, to a certain point, to you know, kind of 100%, if you will. You know, it stops him from soaking up Earth's yellow sun's radiation thingy majiggies, you know, that gives him his power, essentially. And because Superman is working for the US government, and within this particular universe it's a multiverse, so Batman can exist in the same universe as Superman. Because Batman is a vigilante, the US government sees him as a threat. They ask Superman to bring him in, and subsequently Batman and Superman have a fight. Now, because Superman is not technically, you know, 100% Superman, like he's not fighting fit, he's certainly not weak by any means of the imagination. No one, you know, of normal kind of strength could take him on by any means, but this is Batman we're talking about, and Batman dons this suit of power armour, essentially. It's this big kind of steel, tanky type armour with, you know, gives them the ability to lift cars and, you know, all that stuff. And Batman has known for some time that Superman will eventually have to take him in for the things he's done, and he will have to answer for, you know, his crimes, essentially. Because it's something that happens earlier on in the story, and I'm not going to reveal that because it's an amazing part of the movie. I'm just going to say tunnel of love for those of you who've read it. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just a little bit of an in comment there. Gives you more of a push to go and watch the actual film. But regardless, Superman and Batman end up having a fight in Gotham, and you know, it's a fairly fair fight at that stage. You know, it's going kind of both ways at some points. Batman busts out some incredible kind of weird moves where he plugs himself into the Gotham National Grid and shocks Superman, and you know, it's very visceral and awesome. But basically, just as you think Batman's about to lose, I believe Oliver something, the character who plays the Green Arrow, shoots an arrow of kryptonite. Now, this is synthetic kryptonite. This is kryptonite that Bruce Wayne, Batman, has developed over the course of many, many years. And there's actually a line within the film which goes, it took many years and millions of dollars, but fortunately I have both. So yeah, Superman gets this arrow shot at him, and he turns around, catches it, and of course the kryptonite explodes all over him, inhales it into his lungs, makes him mortal. And Batman gives him the line of, just remember who beat you, remember that I beat you, remember the man you were going to take in, you know, I beat you and I let you live. You know, I could have easily snatched the life out of you, but I beat you. Basically saying that I'm a mortal man, for want of a better word, because let's face it, Batman isn't particularly mortal, you know. Well, in the conventional sense of the word. But yeah, we were discussing this, me and my friend, back to the point, and we were thinking, you know, this is the only storyline that would sell to people, you know, because you can't put Superman and Batman in the same film and have them have a fight on normal terms, because that would, you know, no one's going to buy that. You can't put any other superhero up against Superman and have him win. Maybe Captain Marvel, or, you know, the Atom, or whatever his name is. But yeah, you know, within the context of you know, superheroes that people actually know of, you couldn't put any other superhero against Superman and have him win. Sorry guys, had to cut the video there for a second, my cat was going nuts outside. But yeah, regardless, I think that's probably the only way they could get this sort of story to sell, if they're going to do a Batman vs Superman movie. But such things have come to light since the media speculation that it was going to be a Batman vs Superman movie. You know, the fact that they cast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, which is a fantastic choice in my opinion. You know, there's going to be a lot of controversy surrounding that, I know, but there was controversy surrounding Ledger when he was cast as Joker, and look how that turned out. So yeah, and Eisenberg is one of my personal favourite actors, so I've no doubt in my mind that he can pull a role like that off. He's, you know, very sinister character when he wants to be. But yeah, that's kind of about it really, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Well, for one, I hope you enjoyed this pointless piece of, you know, nonsense. Essentially, this nonsense dialogue you've been listening to for the last, you know, 5 to 10 minutes. But secondly, I hope you've enjoyed the Arkham Origins gameplay I've got underneath here. Arkham Origins is probably my least favourite of the 3, and I don't like 2 as much as 1, so that's saying something. Yeah, I just don't. This game doesn't really get on with me as well. I mean, they've polished the mechanics down really well, and it flows really well. The combat feels better than it's ever done before, but it's the story isn't as compelling, and the characters aren't as, you know, well, as compelling as well. Really, it's just, I feel that it's a poor attempt to not necessarily mimic what the first one did, because nothing will ever mimic the story of the first one. That Scarecrow level, I'm just going to say, fantastic. But yeah, you know, it's still enjoyable in its own way, and I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But yeah, I've rambled for too long now, guys, taking too much of your time away from you, so I'm going to shut up. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You know, leave any type of feedback you like, any type of suggestions, you know, videos you'd like to see, and if I can talk about them, I will. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Toodaloo!